Hi. Havana, the capital and the largest city of the Republic of Cuba, the political, economic and cultural center of the country, one of 16 of her provinces. The square of Big Havana makes 728.25 km. The city is divided into 15 municipalities. In 1514, Spaniards founded the city, called in honor of Christopher Columbus San Cristobal, Saint Christopher, on the island. In several years the city was transferred to the new place and began to be called at first San Cristobal de Havana, and then just Havana. Ikonim Havana consider formed from Savannah. The Visakatravni steppe as inhabitants of east mountainous areas of the island called the Savannah his western flat part where there is a city. There are also other hypotheses of origin of a toponym Havana. The most widespread is the assumption that it comes from a name of the leader, Cossack, of Indians of the tribe secretly of Habagwanics. Havana was founded by the Spanish settlers on September 16, 1519. Before gaining the island by Spaniards on this place there lived Indians, in particular Siboney, and secretly. However, cruel oppression of enslavers, diseases and hunger led to almost elimination of indigenous people. The Spanish conquerors compensated for the labor deficiency of the city black slaves who at the beginning of the 17th century were a considerable part of the population of Havana. In 1563 Havana became the administrative center of the Spanish colony of the island of Cuba, which received by then the status of general captaincy. Since the end of the 16th century it was the main outpost of Spain on the Antilles and transshipment terminal for sending to Spain the gold stolen in America. In 1728 in the city the Havana University was founded. In 1762 the city was occupied by troops of the British Army. Under the terms of the Parisian World, Great Britain returned to Spain Havana in exchange for Florida. In the 1860th years there began work the tobacco factory, Partagas. By the end of the 19th century Havana became the center of liberation movement of the minding power of the Spanish colonialists, and in February 1895 in the City Revolution, and then the People's Liberation War which captured the whole country broke out. In September 1895 in Havana independence of Cuba of Spain was declared. In 1898 the Spanish government recognized independence of Cuba, however reserved the right to appoint the Governor-General. The same year the USA, which declared war of Spain, interfered with the conflict between Spain and the Cuban Republicans. In 1898, during a time of military operations between Spain and the USA, the American troops intruded in Havana, having occupied the city and having blocked coastal areas of the island. On May 19, 1900 among the American soldiers heavy epidemic of yellow fever burst. Walter Reed and James Carroll appointed by the American command by means of volunteers from ranks of North American Army step by step disproved the representation prevailing then that the infection is transmitted through the infected air, water, clothes, bed linen and any other similar ways, and James Carroll at the price of the life proved that the only way of infection with yellow fever is the sting of a mosquito of Aedes aegypti. Therefore when the group headed by William Crawford Gorgas methodically destroyed all centers of reproduction of mosquitoes, in 90 days in Havana there was no case of yellow fever, for the first time in 200 years. The American occupational regime proceeded in Havana till 1902. In 1902, when the freed Cuba gained independence, and in her territory the republican form of government was entered, Havana was announced the capital of again formed Republic of Cuba. As a result of long military operations and coups, the economy of Havana fell into decay. Situation improved with arrival to the presidential power, 1925, of the Cuban General Machado. The highway connected the capital to other cities of the island. Besides, her communications with the foreign states began to develop. However, I led the politician Machado to a massive strike in Havana, 1933, which paralyzed the economic life of the city. A number of the military coups which were happening from 1930 to 1959 and became result of an intense political situation in the country destabilized also economy in the capital, which is both the trade and industrial center of Cuba. In 1946, the Estadio Latino Araucano Stadium was constructed. After the victory of the Cuban Revolution of 1959 in Havana, construction was developed. In April 1959, construction of the new residential area of Havana del Este began. In 1961, the Iron and Steel Works of Jose Marti was created and the Institute of Oncology and Radiobiology is open. In 1962, the Academy of Sciences is open. In 1964, car repair plant was put into operation. In the 1960th, with the assistance of experts of the Polish People's Republic in Havana, the shipbuilding shipyard Casablanca, on which built tows, pontoons, barges and merchant ships with the displacement up to 1,000 tons, was designed, constructed and equipped. Economic recovery of the city was observed from 1970 at seaport export of local products Havana and also import of various goods from other countries was adjusted. The USA was the main partner of Cuba in foreign market. With assistance of the USA in the capital, the industrial enterprises, houses, schools were under construction, ways were paved. Aran Nueva Vedada, the Havana plant on production of bus bodies which developed production of buses, was put into operation. At first Giron -4 on the gas -53 chassis, then Giron 5 and Giron 6 on the PAS -672 VU chassis. In 1976, the Polytechnical Institute, in 1981 Medical Institute is open here. In 1986, the Scientific Research Institute of Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology was open. Havana is in the northwest of the island of Cuba, on the bank of the Gulf of Mexico. This city was stretched in the beautiful place near bays Havana and San Lazaro. Natural vegetation is presented by different types of palm trees, a passion flower, a citrus, a sandalwood, etc. Coastal waters of Havana are rich with fish. In total here over 700 species of fish and mollusks. In the city and its vicinities there are a lot of various insects including dangerous to the person, for example a sandy flea and a malaria mosquito. In the east of Havana there is a resort area Santa Maria including small resort towns, in particular Terra and Guanabo. On Elisev's classification, the climate of Havana is characterized as tropical and formed under the influence of tropical monsoons. Because of influence of the Caribbean Sea, the rainy season and a dry season in the city are distinguishable poorly. The city is also subject to tropical cyclones. In January average air temperature is plus 25 C, in July about plus 29 C. The dry season lasts from November to April, and from May to October plentiful rains drop out. The average annual norm of rains is about 1500. The average duration of sunshine in a year is 2831.4 hours. Havana is inhabited by 2,135,498 people. 2010. A capital share in the total number of the population of Cuba minus 21%. Around 7 from 10 residents of the capital are descendants of the Spanish immigrants. The others have the mixed Africano-Spanish or Asian origin. A state language, Spanish. More than a half of the believing population of Havana profess Catholicism. A part of residents adheres to the syncretic beliefs which evolved from mixture of Christianity and a number of the African pagan cults. The city of Havana, having the status of the province, is subdivided into 15 municipalities. Havana is one of the most beautiful island capitals of the world. The old downtown still keeps the original colonial shape. There is a number of the ancient architectural monuments which are of considerable historical value. In 1984, sites of the capital were entered in the list of the World Cultural Heritage of UNESCO. It is necessary to distinguish from them especially the fortress of La Realforza, 1583. The Monastery Santa Clara, 1644. Cathedral of Immaculate Conception, 1656. A city town hall, 1792. The cathedral area with the cathedral constructed in the 18th century. In the center, the area with a memorial complex of José Martí is located. One of the main architectural monuments, Boulevard Prado, houses are constructed in the old Spanish style. There is a building of the national capital constructed in the 1920th on a building sample in Washington, and also the Bolshoi Theater of Havana. In Havana there are also several museums. National, Colonial, Museum of Anthropology. The Museum of Ceramics, which exposition is in Castillo de la Alfersolag. José Martí's House Museum. The Napoleonic Museum contains an extensive collection of the exhibits relating to the period of 1789-1815. Museum of Decorative Art. Ethnological Museum. Museum of Revolution. Ernest Hemingway's House Museum. The National Museum, in which collections of works of art of the last centuries, including antiquity period, and the present are stored, is most known. The meeting of picturesque cloths of the Cuban artists of the 18th-20th centuries is especially remarkable. Also are of interest. Museum of Fight Against Illiteracy. Museum of the City of Havana. The Historical Museum Guanabacoa, where exhibits of the Afro-Cuban traditional rituals are collected. Noticeable city dominant is the complex of buildings of Embassy of the USSR. The Russian Federation today. The complex is executed in style of the Soviet modernism. Architects A. Rachagev M. Engelk 5. Pisetsky. In recent years, works on restoration of architectural city monuments were carried out. The purpose of restorers was restoration of initial shape of ancient works of architecture and a sculpture. For the capital, restoration of constructions on Old Square of Havana had huge cultural value. The leading higher educational institution of the city is the Havana University. Since 1962 in Havana, the Academy of Sciences of Cuba works, research works are financed by the state. Lance Habanera comes from the name of the city. Havana is well known for the whole world for the noisy and populous holidays, festivals and fairs. In February in the city there passed the colorful carnival and the International Festival of Jazz. In December in the capital there takes place the annual Festival of the Latin American Cinema, and on January 1 Havana celebrates a national holiday, Day of Revolution, which is followed by festive actions, performances of musicians and dancers. The city has two airports. The International Airport of Jose Marti, main air gate of Cuba. The Playa Baraka Airport is used only for internal flights. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.